After we have set up our site on SiteGround and we have installed WordPress and WooCommerce, if you are using that for your site, you're going to get this screen that says, check, you are all set. Your website has been created. Check out our tips to proceed and manage your website. So we have just done this point your domain site. Again, this is telling our domain, which is our URL or our website address, where to go on the internet to find our website information. And so these are the servers that host that information. We have put them into our Namecheap account, which is where we have purchased our domain. Some people use Google Workspace for domains or GoDaddy or other things like that. There are different options, but this is just an example of the ones that I like and have used very much for clients. So we get this part here that says go to Site Tools. So we're going to click on that, and that's going to show us information about our website on the back end. Again, this is our host, and they are hosting and holding the information, all of the data that our website has. Now, for the most part, when you're just starting this, you are going to see this warning that says your domain is not pointing to this site, which is completely fine, of course, because we just actually set this up. And so it will, like I said in a previous video, it can take up to a couple days to populate. Usually it happens very quickly. If you go to type in your domain, you'll be able to see it. But it does give you a disclaimer that name server change may take up to 72 hours to propagate. So we're just waiting on that, and that's okay. You can do other things in the meantime. But you can see a little bit behind the scenes on your hosting company. Again, I use SiteGround. I like them the best. About how to do different things for your website. So we've already installed WordPress. We don't have to do that again. We can go to email accounts, and this is where we can create our custom domain email addresses, such as hello@yoursitename.com or support@yoursitename.com. And you can manage that. There is also ways to add email to your own email management service on your laptop, such as MacMail or something like that. We'll show information about that separately too, of course. File Manager is something you may or may not get into on your website. And Site Scanner is just something that, again, reviews security and things like that for your site. You can edit these things if you want to get to certain areas, but it just shows you information, kind of some tech backend things about what's happening here, about hosting your website. It does keep statistics here on SiteGround about, visitors and page views to your site, which is nice to see. If you don't have something like Google Analytics installed on your site, which I highly suggest. But the one thing you can look at when you're going here is the security section. And so you want to go to SSL Manager, which is security certificates for your site. That just really keeps it in a better place in terms of making sure your site is secure and there's not any kind of possibilities that it may not be. And so SSL Manager walks you through a little bit about some of that on the background. You can go ahead and read it. So if we want to install an SSL certificate on our site, which I do highly suggest, you have your domain, of course, here, and then you can pick one of these that you want to install. These have different characteristics. Let's encrypt wildcard, etc., things like that. If you want to use some of those, because we are waiting on our host domain name servers right now, this is why we're getting this warning, and that's okay. But so we can pick one at least and get the certificate for that. This allows you to have the HTTPS, specifically that S added onto, ://www, in your actual name for your website. You do want it to be a secure website so you don't get warnings or you don't get any kind of breaches or things like that that you quite honestly don't want to deal with. So go ahead and install the SSL Manager when you get a chance. Sometimes this just takes a couple minutes, and then you can go ahead and look at just making sure that's secure. So I will talk a little bit about that, what that looks like on the back end on your WordPress site in a future episode. But you can walk through some of the different areas here in the back end of SiteGround. Seeing our WordPress section, we already have that installed, so we don't have to worry about that. The domains you have and the email, you can go ahead in this email section, and this is where you would create an email for your website. Like I said, hello at, and it already shows you because this is the domain we have picked. Go ahead and generate a password and create your email account. And then it will tell you how to manage the accounts and where you can actually find the information and the email messages that are being sent to that account. So that's just a little bit on the back end of your SiteGround website hosting account. Again, you can go back to the dashboard and see some of the information here about what's being used. Go back to your account to get to the main homepage about what you have, making sure you can walk through any of your billing, or if you have other things like that you want to use for it. And so I highly suggest you do go to the home section here and look through about how to do any of the things that you're looking to do. Creating email accounts in your domain, of course. Although I provided info here in these videos, this is just my experience of using this. So if you need further help, definitely go to SiteGround, to the help section, and read through about how to do things. They have some really nice videos and posts about tools, getting started with WordPress, how to optimize your site, and all kinds of things like this about just making your site really work for you. Though some people don't tend to pay a lot of attention to these, they really can be helpful in making your site work the best.